Good morning. I think I need an like iPad or something. I use Samsung, but the same thing to kind of do research on and then have it beside me when I do a video, because everything I can remember. Some of the things I read a lot, and I see a lot, and I hear a lot. It just flies right out of my head. We do have dyslexia in my family. I haven't that diagnosed, but my little sister that has it has told me that I kind of work in the same way as she does. Kind of shift words, jump over stuff. I can read a lot, but it just flies right out of my head if I don't put it in words. If I can express it, and it's like it's like moves past me quite fast. And if I don't grab it, make a text, make a video, it disappears. That is the feeling with me kind of containing information. It is briefly, it is now, then it's gone. That is also why I'm not doing well on tests, and why I'm not like high graduate in any way, because I don't perform well during those kind of a structured environment where I need to know something in the time limit that they want me to know in. I can read a book like 110 times, like from the front to the back, from the back to the front, upside down. And I used to do this when I was in school, and I still didn't perform well during the test. And that happened a lot. But I don't know, you kind of learn from it, I guess, to move faster, to take that talent. No one can say that I'm not like an intellectual, obviously, or that I'm not intelligent. Um, but I don't have the kind of paper or the status that you would presume that I would have. Like I can't become a diplomat, even if I probably would be extremely good at it. Um, yeah, I don't know why I'm speaking about this and why I'm starting this video like this. Mercury is going retrograde soon, so we have kind of missed. It's going to be harder to be understood. You're going to have to be clearer with your messaging moving forward. Technology will maybe not collapse, but it would be like if your phone is starting to act weird. Or I have a friend, her earbuds always stop working, so she always has to buy new ones during Mercury retrograde. It is a time of kind of do this, look at your work in a different way, like I'm starting to. I have already scheduled a post for like 1 o'clock today that goes into details with what I'm going to speak about in this video. So I've already prepared something. I never done this before, but I also know that I will not remember what my AI told me or when we discussed. So right now, when I don't have an iPad or something that I can have like with me when I'm doing this video, I have to find a way to do my video, say what I'm supposed to say, and then have like the bullet points in a post in the afternoon. I've never done this before, and I'm trying it out. I think that I'm going to have to buy an iPad. I'm just right now very cautious with my money. before I can actually purchase something that would make this easier for me. Um, it will get You're going to have to be more clearer with your message, even if you feel like you are extremely clear. I think you have to if you say something and then ask the other person, can you just repeat what I just told you, to see if they actually got what you were saying. This is the energy that we are entering now. I think next week, I didn't look this up, which date it is, but I think it's next week, and then 3 weeks moving forward. I was asked what I think about the situation that we are in, and I have gone back and tried to kind of understand where it all started, and it's kind of jumpy. It's people ask, why do you bring up like World War II? Why do you? Because it's very much present in people's minds, more than you would actually believe, to be honest. The past is here because it wants us to remember something, and this has nothing to do with what the Germans actually did. They seem to be extremely shameful of it, that they basically try to kill us all. And I've watched how they took over Poland. Like, it was like an animated movie on TikTok, how you kind of saw in time how the Germans were moving, and how they just like took Poland. And then we have Moscow, and how they actually was really, 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 really close to take Moscow. And I just watched it as an animation on TikTok, and I was like, you know, when you see how close they actually were to take Moscow. Um, and this is not long ago. Is the European countries in any interest of taking over anything today? I don't think so. I think the European people would have a lot to say about it if we had any kind of leader at all plotting and planning of going out to war, taking over someone else's territory. I'm not seeing that at all. And we see the US, their kind of approach to things are, can you please behave? If you don't behave, I'm going to bomb you, and then I'm going to leave, because I don't want to be where you are, but you don't behave. So we're going to drop bombs, and then we'll see where that is going. They have a very in and out energy. They don't build stuff. They don't stay and fix what they have kind of destroyed. This energy is quite different, though. It is more emotional. It is like bringing back what has been taken from us a long time ago. And my personal opinion is that we all had to let go of land once in our lifetime, if not like several times. We've all heard about when the Italians went crazy and wanted to kind of kill us all and conquer everything, and their belief system were like the belief system. That was obviously a while ago, but they still did it. The Swedes, obviously, with the Vikings and stuff, has gone out, but I don't think we kind of pushed for any territory. We just went out there and were brutal people. So we all done it. and we all had to let go. And I think when you have had that, it's like, don't you think that the Swedish people will have loved to have like a tiny piece of the Norwegian countryside that made us kind of, I don't know, you don't have to have all the oil money, but kind of tiny piece of it. I think we would be ecstatic for it. Like, probably even be more friends with Norway than we are today. We had to let go of that. Um, and today we kind of joke about it, and I can joke about it in this scenario with, why do you ask us for money? Ask Norway for money. They are the ones having it. Like, we don't. And I do it with love, obviously, but it's also extremely true. Norway is the country you ask for when it comes to money, and they will probably pay handsomely to get out of stuff if they could. Now they are kind of put in the same position as everybody else, and that is what I think about things. I can't change my mind, obviously, but I've spoken about this for such a long time now that this is where my head is starting to kind of move. When it comes to Ukraine, I have listened to some Russians speak about, and I think they speak about Donbass, and I'm not so sure if that is on the Ukraine side or if that is in the Russian side, and that it actually is a the the Ukraine side that is most towards Russia. They actually do like Russia. They actually do want Russia to be like taking over. They actually do. They're very pro Russia. And back then, they were very vocal about it. They were very like hopeful, I guess, is what I'm picking up on. So just take it for what I'm kind of saying it. They if you kind of listened or if they were loud enough, I think you believed them that they spoke for Ukraine or they spoke for more people than they actually did. It was almost like a loud noise in that region of Ukraine. That could have sparked something within Russia to believe that maybe they actually do want to be saved. Maybe they actually would be kind of grateful, and we just have to do this for like a week or so, and then everything will be fine. In the way Russia operates, obviously, I'm not that keen on censoring people's way of speaking, because as we all know, if Sweden were censoring us, I wouldn't have my channel. I wouldn't be able to speak about this. I wouldn't have the possibility to be heard from outside of Sweden. I could obviously speak with my friends. I could obviously kind of do stuff in my environment here, but to kind of do it in this way would be impossible. I am listening to some Russian people, and they seem to be actually fine, and they seem to be kind of cheerful, or at least they kind of portray it as such. It can be that they want to make the world see that you shut us out and we are fine. We are doing great. It's you know how you can be hurt that someone doesn't want to play with you. So you make sure that they know that you have a great time with whatever you're doing. That is the energy that I get from the Russians, that they're probably quite sad but they also manage, and life moves on. Russia is really beautiful, by the way. Dear Lord, it's such a beautiful country, and the cities. I had no idea, but I had no idea because it's not like okay to put it out there either. I don't watch what governments want me to watch. I watch what people want me to watch. That is the difference. Um, the governments can tell me stuff if they want to. They can like show a picture if they want to. I'll, however, always go towards the people. Okay, the government showed me this. What's your opinion about it? And then I scroll through the opinions, what people think. And no one seems to believe the Russians. I'm sorry, that they are fine. And I think that is the energy they have. That you can be extremely cheerful, you can laugh, you can have all the music in the world, you can show off a brave face and all that, and still your energy can be hurt or sad that you are in fact isolated from the rest of the world. I didn't know that you actually could could travel to Russia. Um, if you are in Europe, I think you can through Turkey, and then you move over to Russia. Um, but what I've heard, they are telling us to not go. So I think that it's not safe to go to Russia. Um, but people seem to do, and they seem to be fine for some reason. I don't know which side to believe in. I don't know what is what's being shown, and what is like the opposites. It's very black and white. And I think we have to start to find what is the middle here, um, when it comes to Russia. When I see the Ukrainian people, they are getting stronger as people. They it's like, okay, we didn't get to sleep this night because Putin had a feeling, um, and he sent a massive amount of drones just this night. They wake up in the morning, they clean it up, they look at which house, which park, whose car is completely bombed. A woman's, she had like sewing, what do you call it? Sewing, like she was a seamstress, and she showed the complete destruction of her shop where like she works there. It's her job, and it was, you can see it was completely burned out, obviously, but you can see like the desk and all the equipment still. And she cried, and I just wanted to kind of hug her and say that it's just material. You can build this up. I don't know how. It takes money, it takes time, and also how much do you want to put into it, as long as the war kind of continues. But you're fine, it can be built up. And I think that is kind of the core energy those two countries kind of have today. This war doesn't crack the Ukrainian people, it makes them stronger, it makes them more resilient, it cleans stuff up. I wouldn't be extremely sad if something, except like no one is hurt, but if something kind of made a few houses in Stockholm to disappear, and we just could like build them up in a beautiful way instead of how extremely ugly they are today. So that is my mindset of things. I have a lot of Taurus energy in me, which is like houses and buildings and structures and taking care of stuff, and it has to be beautiful. And there is a movement in Stockholm that tries to make like aesthetics, and can we build in like the old fashioned way instead of this horrendous uh, buildings that we have been building for like an extremely long time now, that destroys the aesthetic of Stockholm. Like you can build such a beautiful city, and where am I going with this? You can create a beautiful city today, and they have proved that it doesn't have to be more expensive than building an ugly one. So that is my mindset. And when it comes to kind of take what has been broken and then make it beautiful again. And I think the Ukrainian people kind of are from a day to day basic. They do this, rinse and repeat every day. They clean it up and they move on, and they clean it up and they move on. So every time, I don't know exactly what the Russians think they are accomplishing when it comes to the Ukrainian people's mind. What they are doing is that they make them more resilient. They are more set in what they believe in, and more and stronger. They are extremely strong, and it kind of shapes them. Um, when you have someone around you that kind of destroys what you build up, and then you have to rebuild it, um, it does something to you. It makes you, it shapes you. I've been through it personally, like watching people come in and completely destroy like things, material things, and then they leave. Like I'm not hurt, except I have to kind of deal with like anger, sadness, giving up. Had to kind of transform all of that and start over again and again and again and again and again. It's like if you ever had watched Harry Potter, Hogwarts is getting destroyed in every single movie. In the end, the school is just like teared down, and in the next movie, it's fine again. It's like has built up and it's better, it's beautiful. It's like, so I learned that a long time ago, that like Hogwarts gets destroyed, my life gets destroyed. We pick up the pieces, we rebuild it, and then that is going to be destroyed. And then we pick up the pieces and we're going to rebuild it, and then that is going to be destroyed. It's so annoying, it's so exhausting, and you just want it to end because you don't know how kind of long, or how long can I take this? When is this going to shift? When is this going to end? When is this going to? And that is an extremely good question that no one can answer, to be completely honest. Because what I've learned when it comes to energy is that you decide when it's ending. You decide when when it's enough, when you're not going to be exhausted any longer. And that is hard to kind of accept. For me, it was leaving people and situations behind. Sometimes I was kind of stuck in it for a amount of time, and I had to kind of endure. And I knew that if I endure just a tiny bit longer, I'm going to be completely destroyed. And it turned out fine, not in the way that I would personally have kind of wanted it to, but I'll get out of it eventually. So, what I see this situation, if it's continuing, I'm not seeing anything else than the Russian people getting more and more kind of desperate for the world to see that they are fine without us. How beautiful everything is, which is true. I'm like in awe of the buildings, and I love buildings, and I can be because um, grandfather and that side of the family is Russian, and I have wondered if I actually do have some relatives in Russia, or if everybody has moved on and lived somewhere else. I know that they are in France and in the US. I have no idea if anybody is still in Russia. Um, I would like to know. I don't know if I ever will though. I think that when all of this started, going back to that, it kind of made sense. And I'm sorry, I really am, for this opinion of mine. Don't come after me. It really made sense to go into to Ukraine. Because what I've heard, it was so corrupt. Like so corrupt. And the people that were kind of in that place were not nice people. And I'm not saying that Russia is any different. Um, I'm saying it makes sense. Um, and also, it makes sense if the mindset during that time where we are just going to move in, no one is going to get hurt. We're doing this for like a brief amount of time. And then that didn't happen because you kind of calculated really wrong that people wanted to be saved from this corruption and from this. I know the Russians are blaming other stuff on this, and that might also be true. I just haven't focused on it at all. If NATO or the EU have done something or been shady in any way, I don't know. I've heard about it, that they have made promises that they haven't kept. But promises can be made and then something happens that makes those promises like useless. So I'm not completely sure about any of it. I will probably keep watching and keep listening to that side of how Russian people want to explain this. However, the more I kind of dug into the research I did, it was that Ukraine has actually cleaned up a lot of the corruption that were. Every Russian I come across that talks about the Russian and the Ukrainian war, that still they are very brave. They were very brave people, because what I have heard is that you are not allowed to speak about the war in Ukraine. So I don't know if she is watched in any way. Probably is. um, but she is very truthful and honest. And she defends Russia. I don't know if that is something she has to do, though, or if she actually feel the way she is speaking about it. Her point were, though, that no Russians actually care about territory. You've heard me say that, yeah, we are not giving Ukraine away to the Russian people. That is off limits. You are not getting any territory at all. Why have I said that over and over again? It's because it isn't about the territory. It isn't about the land. The Russian people don't care about it. I don't think it was intended to in the beginning. The land in itself, even if the Russians say a lot of stuff, I don't think the intention of it were. It's a very messy story, I have to say. It is, my God, it is so much illusion, is so much lies and deception that made this story into like a fog. No one actually spoke the complete truth. No one around Vladimir Putin actually knew what they were saying, actually told him the truth. If they were, if the, if any truth would have been spoken back then he wouldn't have been as confident as he were to actually do this. He can say that the West made moves that made it make sense for him to do this. I want to take it back to his own group of people. They said stuff. They told him things that may have been an illusion. Not deliberate lies, but they didn't, their mindset weren't seeing the whole picture. They didn't take their time to actually do the research. Ukraine looked extremely different back then, deeply corrupt. And my AI says so, like it has told me so. And we all know that I actually do trust my AI, and I know when it's wrong too, and I can kind of, yeah, no, that's not where we are after here. And it does kind of warn me, and it does also actually tell me when I'm not right. Not saying, it doesn't say that, no, you're wrong. It kind of stares me towards, that has happened quite a lot, when it kind of, no, Manala, yeah, no, I want to, let's go this way rather than where your mind is going. So that happens a lot, which has, but it also has to do with my, like, I can feel when, yeah, we need to kind of go in a different path, a different way than I have intended. And it's a slippery slope to see the whole picture of Ukraine and what happened and who made what move, what the West did, and what they didn't do, what they didn't say. There's a lot of ego, and we're moving towards Leo season. So ego will be heightened. It's a fire sign, and we want to be seen, and we want to be heard, and we want to be like a Leo, you know. And that makes this more visible. Like, we're going to see the Russians more on social media, where they're trying to kind of make us all believe that they are fine without us. How beautiful Russia is, which it is. And I love to watch it, obviously, but I would also like to give them a hug. I know, like, I know. And also the Ukrainians, how they every morning has to kind of clean up, and they have to be more stronger for each day, and they can't, they don't have the beautiful scenery to kind of show us, even if you can always build it, you can always kind of become better, you can always, like, so you kind of want to give them a hug too. Ukraine still has a lot of corruption to clean up. They need to clean that up. And I am kind of wrapping this up now. That is a way out for everybody, to word it slowly in a way that Ukraine looked truthfully really, really bad back then, with corruption, with like EU, the Europeans would not have anything to do with them, with that kind of like setting. However, if they continue to actually clean it up, which they are doing, but if they focus on it, that is a way to exit this eventually. It will take time. It will take a lot of trust. It will take resilience again and a lot of strength. And it would show that Putin still is strong, still kind of demands stuff, but that he also has a heart somewhere, that he's still a human being somewhere, that he is like, yeah, this is what I wanted all the time, but it kind of went overboard in some way. And the West can, fine, we clean this up, we do the work here, we make sure that these people are gone, we make sure that the system is as modern and like you can't corrupt anything. We put people in charge that are individuals, but they know, they can understand the Russian people, they can understand the West, they can be the bridge that everybody wants. Get what I'm saying here? No one is giving any territory or any land away, because that makes absolutely no difference in this at all. Now I have why I have said that for such a long time. That you don't give it away because it doesn't fix anything. You fix it with cleaning up the corruption, and like do it to 150%. Like not just, oh no, we can't do that, or get lazy halfway through, or something. And then I think why I have to stop this video. Then I think why like companies like BlackRock, or like, can you help for once and kind of go in there and do what you need to do? And everybody else too. This is not just like the military thing, it is something completely different. So this is my opinion. I'm going to post a post later this evening, and that goes into more what my AI and I was speaking about. Yeah, I'm done.